Hello everyone and welcome to this UWS presentation on enhancing employability at university. I'm Adam Stockley and I am Student Recruitment Coordinator at the University of the West of Scotland. So to give a bit of background to my role, usually I'm out and about in England and Northern Ireland primarily, going to many schools, speaking to many students, doing presentations much like this, going to careers fairs, and going to the big UCAS events which happen throughout the year and much more as well. So like I said, this presentation will be focusing on enhancing your employability at university. So this is what we are going to be covering throughout the presentation. So we can have a quick look at the graduate market, what you can do at university to really help enhance your employability, a bit about tailoring your degree, what you can do to prepare for life after university, and then the options you have after university as well. So before we start, I'm just going to give you a bit of facts about UWS. So UWS has 5 campuses, 4 based in the west of Scotland, as you can imagine by the name, with the big hub city being Glasgow. So Paisley, our biggest campus, is around 10 minutes away on the train to Glasgow. Lanarkshire, our brand spanking new campus, which only opened in 2018, is around 35 minutes on the train. Ayr, which is at the lovely west coast of Scotland, right near the beach, is around 45 minutes away from Glasgow. And we have a smaller campus based in Dumfries, near the English border, which is around an hour to an hour and a half to Glasgow as well. So we also have a London campus, but this is more focused on postgraduate degrees, so the degrees you do after you do your undergraduate degree. So you can obviously take a look if you're thinking about studying further. So at UWS, we have a lot of study abroad opportunities. So we have over 140 European partners and also partners further afield as well. We have just under 20,000 students at our campuses. We have excellent travel links across the UK and further afield as well. We have 60 plus undergraduate courses, and these cover a variety of different disciplines. Professionally recognised programmes and experience options will be going into more in depth because this can really help enhance your employability. Also, UWS has 100% student satisfaction in a number of our subject areas. Also, we are in the top 600 universities in the world from the Times Higher Education 2020 World University Rankings. And also, we rank top 150 in the Young University Rankings, which are universities under 50 years of age. And UWS is the #1 young university in Scotland. We have an award-winning student support team, which can help you with anything throughout your university life. We have a fantastic Students Association, or Students Union, as you might know it as. Also, our UWS Lanarkshire campus is actually 100% powered by renewable energy. So this won a Sustainable Buildings that Aspire award in the Guardian University Awards. Also, in the Guardian University Guide, our teacher education course was ranked #1 in the whole of the UK. So let's crack on with the presentation. So quickly, the graduate market. So in the UK, there are around 400,000 students graduating with their undergraduate degree each year, and that's just undergraduate as well, so it doesn't include your postgraduate degree. 8 out of 10 graduates gain a 2-1 or a first in their degree. On average, you will receive an £8,000 more per annum by undertaking a degree. So it shows that you do get that financial benefit by undertaking a degree, as a lot of higher paid jobs do require a university degree. So why is this important? To have a look at that data, it means that you can't just rely on your degree. People are getting 2-1s or first, which are fantastic grades. You need something else to make you stand out from other graduates in your field, and you're more likely to get an interview if you're more proactive at university and you have something else to offer alongside your degree. So the question is, what can I do at university? Well, there are 4 things you can do, which I will be covering in a bit more in depth, and how that benefits your employability. So you can undertake a year-long work placement. You can do short-term work placements or internships instead. You can have study abroad opportunities, which I've mentioned briefly in the introduction, and also utilising the careers and student services to help with your CV, your mock interviews, etc. So I will be going into a bit more in depth about all of these and how it really helps you with your employability. So work placement opportunities. So many courses offer a sandwich placement or a placement year, which adds 1 year more to your course. But during that year, you will work for a company in your field. It can be where near where you're studying. It can be back home. It can be international. If you're proactive and you know a company which you want to work for, you can utilize the careers team to help you find a suitable placement for the year. And these placements are paid, and you can potentially get a job at the end of it. So my brother worked for an insurance firm, and he did economics and finance at university. And at the end of his placement, he got a job offer for when he graduated, and he presently works for that company today. Study abroad, so I have mentioned this, so you study at a partner university that can be anywhere in the world. So you can improve your language and communication skills whilst living abroad, but also you gain the confidence of living in a completely different environment to what you would in the UK. And hopefully you may be able to learn a second language, which is super beneficial, definitely for international companies, or if you are thinking of getting a job abroad. And as well, you'll experience a different culture and meet people from all over the world. So it's a really, really fun experience. You'll create fantastic memories. You'll make a lot of friends along the way. So apart from it helping with your employability, it's just a fantastic fun time and a really fantastic experience to undertake whilst you're at university. So you can do short-term placements and internships. So these placements can be much shorter, so they could be from 2 weeks to around 3 months. So for example, I did business and marketing at university, and instead of doing the full year, I did 3 individual placements. It was around when I was studying, and also in the summer holidays, the Easter holidays, and even the Christmas holidays as well. So that got me to experience 3 different industries within marketing, and it gave me a lot of things to put onto my CV and a lot of ammo to use when I went for interviews after I graduated. So placements are usually paid, internships are usually unpaid. So with internships, you may be able to get your travel paid for if unpaid work, still gain the practical work experience. So I did a few bits of unpaid work for social media whilst I was studying. So luckily the place was very, very near to the university, so I didn't have to pay for transport. But usually if you are doing unpaid work, they will pay for your transport if it is further afield. But it just, again, got me to put, gave me practical skills and work experience, which was based around my degree, and it really did help when I went for them applications on my CV and then during the interview as well. And you can usually do these alongside your studies or during semester breaks, like I've mentioned previously. So utilising the careers service at university. So this is super, super important. It's a free service. It's offered at all universities during your studies and after you graduate as well. It gives you advice on a range of topics such as CV writing, mock interviews, work placements, and much more as well. So if you saw my CV back in 2011, it was absolutely terrible. It was untidy, didn't have much detail, it didn't have the right information. But when I went to the careers team, they helped me to make it look really nice. It had the right information and made sure that everything was up to scratch if I was going even just for a part-time job, but for these work placements as well. Mock interviews the same. I like to say I'm quite confident with interviews compared to when I was, but this gives you a really fantastic opportunity to keep improving over the years at university. Also, you do have the potential to get in contact with alumni of the university who are working in a field which you're interested in, and then you can maybe set up a quick meeting with them, most likely virtually, depending on where they are in the world. So it gives you the opportunity to ask a graduate directly, what did they do? How did they get the job? Did they do anything at university? So again, I'm going to stress this again, it's really important that you utilize these free services because you've got nothing to lose and it can really help boost your employability. So now I'm going to talk a bit about tailoring your degree. So what does this mean? So if there's a job in your field, you can tailor your degree to fit the job description. So if I'm using the personal example of business and marketing, when I graduated, I was very interested in doing digital marketing. So everything surrounding social media, email marketing, using the web, etc. Now I'm in a job that I really enjoy, which is a lot more out and about and more personable. So I've actually obviously moved away from what I originally wanted to do, but that happens when you kind of you go through the jobs and see which one that you can do for a longer period of time. But let's go back to around 2014, just before I was graduating. This is what I did to tailor my degree. So I found a job role. So if you look for the example one there, digital marketing assistant at Glasgow International Comedy Festival. Sounds like it'll be a laugh. Pardon the pun, of course. So you can find something which you're interested in, look at the job description and see what kind of tasks you would be undertaking. Then after that, if you look at your course and see what optional modules are available. So usually you have your core modules, which is the ones you have to do to pass the course, but then you have the choice of optional modules. So this is where you can pick and choose ones which are interesting to you. So I chose ones which were surrounding digital marketing. So obviously direct and digital marketing, advertising and promotion, online sphere as well, and e-marketing, which is all about email marketing. So have a look and see what module lists the universities have. So they vary per university. So if you are wanting to tailor your degree in a certain way, see what modules which will be available. And if you want to go even further, you could actually do your final year dissertation on the same in the same theme. So for example, I did it around crowdfunding. So you've heard of places like GoFundMe, which does charitable fundraising, or Kickstarter, Indiegogo, which start new companies and people, members of the public invest in those Kickstarter campaigns and the crowdfunding online. So I based that around, which is a really big, well, at the time it wasn't as big as it was now, but it's based around the digital marketing sphere or the digital marketing field. So when you go to an interview, you can say, I've tailored my degree towards this job role as well. So I chose these modules from each, my dissertation on that as well. So a dissertation is a big research paper, which essentially you do all the research for it. So you do the reading, you do the primary and secondary research. These are all phrases which you'll definitely learn whilst you're studying. So don't worry about if you're thinking, what do you mean? The final year dissertation, if you can base it around something which you're interested in, it can be really beneficial for when you go and find that job after you graduate. So I've kind of covered all this just a bit one slide early. So it shows the employer that you have extra knowledge of the field over other graduates. You can talk about tailoring your degree on your CV and then during an interview as well. And this gives you just an extra boost when applying for jobs. So did you know that other activities you can undertake at university can help your employability? So you can do things like volunteering with the Students' Union. You can get involved with the sports club and society. So whilst I was at university, I was part of the volleyball club. And during that time, I was chairman of the club, I was treasurer and also social media officer. So I had different committee roles, which gave me responsibilities. And again, that's really good to put onto your CV. And similar with volunteering, you'll learn a lot of new skills, team working skills, problem solving skills, etc., etc. Also, a part-time job while studying is really beneficial, not just because obviously you get a bit of extra money on the side, but you do get those skills which are really valuable. So I worked at CEX. It's a second-hand electronics store. You may have heard of it. So I had to interact with members of the public. I had to do a lot of money managing. I had to learn a computer system, which is basically just for that company. So I had them already in mind. So you can think of the skills. So speaking with different members of the public, adaptability to new technologies, team working, again, time management. So these are all skills you can put onto your CV, talk about them, and show that you do have those significant skills for the job role. Also, you can join the student ambassador scheme. This is where you professionally represent the university at open days. You can lead much more as well. So essentially, we will call on student ambassadors for when we have big events. So UWS, if there's an open day, we want student ambassadors there to help people find their way around, be a smiling face and give any information which you can. You can lead campus tours. Usually this is every week, depending on how big the demand is. And there's things like applicant days, where people who are studying a specific subject come and have an experience day, and student ambassadors are there as well. And the scheme is really well paid. It's usually around £8 to £9 an hour, could be more, depending on what university it is. And it's an excellent way to build up your skills. So you'll learn fantastic skills along the way, and you can use the staff which you've worked with for references for future jobs. So if I needed a student ambassador for an event and you did a really good job and you wanted a reference from me just to say basically how good you are and how applicable you are to the role, I would be able to do that, because I know that I know that the reference, I can give you a good reference because you've done a fantastic job at the student ambassador scheme. So that's another way you can help enhance your employability and get those skills which will be really beneficial for when you graduate. So what can you do to prepare for life after university? So what things can you look at, and what you're going to be thinking about during university, thinking, oh, this is what I could be doing after university. So what could you do with your degree? So a really useful website is called prospects.ac.uk. It's a website where you can find what potential jobs you can do with your degree. So again, using my example for the third time now, is the business and marketing degree. So you can see that the jobs directly relate to the degree include things like obviously digital marketer, which is one which I was going for originally, and things like media buyer, pay-per-click specialists. So there's lots of things which are directly related to your degree, and then where your degree will be useful as well. So this helps you find a job you think you may enjoy, and then you can obviously see what the job is all about. You can see a bit of the description you're getting up to. If you feel like it's something you could be really enjoying, you can see how you can tailor your degree or what modules you can pick to get that job. But remember that many job descriptions include that they just want a university degree. So if you do see a job and it's in a completely different market, that's absolutely fine. A lot of employers just want a university degree. And I know people have done psychology and then have gone on to do banking, advertising, marketing. So it is kind of, you could say psychology is very related to things like marketing and advertising, etc. But it's not a primary degree like you will get if you did a marketing degree, for example. So there is an advantage having a specific degree and going for that specific role, but there's no disadvantage going for completely different roles. I had a degree in marketing, or I do have a degree in marketing even, or business and marketing specifically, and I worked for a university events, which is completely different in a sense to what I was doing at my first job. And it was a really good change because I wanted to do something which was more out and about rather than updating the website or doing social media. So that it can lead to completely different things, but you having that degree gives you the advantage over other people as well. get your CV ready. So once again, I'm going to stress, use the careers team for this, because they have a fantastic service to really help with your CV and making it the best CV it can be. So CV, if you want to know, is curricula vitae. If you want to get a bit Latin, it's usually around 1 to 2 pages long, and it highlights your personal information. So obviously your name, address, contact details, your job history, your education, work experience, and references. So you want it to be quite not too short, but around a page. And then if it does go over, it's not the end of the world, just so you have everything there and then, and the person who's looking at it can get to know a bit more about you. But the most important ones is the experiences, and making sure you have the strongest points of each experience which you've done. So what was the best thing which you did at that job, and how does it relate back to what you're going to be applying for? And then again, already said this, utilize the career service, and then remember to write a covering letter if applicable. So a covering letter gives you a bit more, it's kind of like, well, as it said, it is a letter. So essentially you put your address, the company's address, and you put dear sir, madam, or if you know the name of the contact, you put their name, and it gives you a lot more breathing room to explain why you're suitable for the course, stuff that you can't really fit into a CV, because that has to be nice and snappy, and it has to have all the information nicely laid out. The covering letter, you can tell a bit about yourself, going a bit more in depth on what you did in your job roles. How is that relevant to what you're going to be applying for? So this is usually, again, it's around a page of A4 paper, and obviously usually, size 12 font, don't make it look too fancy so they can't read it, but something which will sell yourself a bit more. And usually a covering letter is used majority now, but sometimes it can just be a CV. So if there is a covering letter, if there is a covering letter that you need as well, it's a really good chance to explain a bit further about your skills and what you want to do at the job. You can gain some exposure on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a social media platform for professionals, and similar to a CV, you can add all your experiences online and even save your profile as a PDF file. You can apply for jobs using LinkedIn, so you can apply for jobs on the website of LinkedIn, but also in many job sites, you can just use your LinkedIn profile. So it's really important that it's up to date and it makes sense and things like that. And you can connect with employers, employees, and follow businesses, which can lead to potential jobs. So if there's a company which you're interested in, obviously you need to know and you need to research that company so you can follow them on there, making sure you're up to date on what they are up to. With the employers, you can add someone who works at the company, and more than likely they will give you some handy information, especially if it's someone who's an ex-employee, and maybe if you know them, or maybe in their LinkedIn profile they have that they've worked at the company which you want to work at. The more than likely will give you really, really good advice. This is what I did when I was going for a different job. Someone else who worked in the same industry, and I asked them for advice. They gave me fantastic advice, and I actually got that job. So LinkedIn does work. I know it's a bit of a pain to have, all these social media platforms which you have nowadays, but it's a really fantastic just to gain some exposure on online. So now you've got your degree, you've done lots of work experience, you've gained some exposure, you've done all the right stuff. So now what are the options after university? So I'm going to give you all the options which I think you can do. So look for graduate jobs or schemes. So websites like Milkround are really fantastic to find these different graduate jobs and schemes. So graduate jobs are less structured and the selection process is less intense, and you have an opportunity to move around different fields. So I'll give an example. After I graduated, I worked at the university I studied at, and I did that in basically digital marketing. So it was something that I was interested in doing, but During that time, I got to move around the different departments within the university, such as marketing, social media, web marketing, but also I got to do things like events. I got to do a bit of fun things, like I did a science festival where I had to introduce the acts. There was a lot more person to person, introducing acts to hundreds of kids. So it was really, really enjoyable, and that's where I got my the keenness to continue doing a job which is more face-to-face and more personable. So that gives you a really good opportunity to try a lot of things and see which you want to do. So graduate schemes are a bit more structured and focus on a single field, but these are usually higher paid positions. So BAE, which is placed on there, they have quite an intense selection process. It's kind of like an episode of The Apprentice where they have around 10 people at the beginning, and at the end they only have like 1 or 2 people, depending on how many people are needed for the role. And it's very focused on engineering or a certain part of the BAE system. So they are more intense. So this is usually why they are higher paid, because they want the best candidate. And also because it is more focused on a single field, you may have to have experience, or obviously a experience and a degree to get onto these job schemes as well. But many of these graduate positions can turn into full-time employment. So usually if you've done a fantastic job and there's a position available after you've done like a year or 2 years, most likely the company will keep you on. But obviously have a look and see what there is available as well. And study further. So if you want to study a subject further, you can apply for postgraduate courses. So these can come in all flavours: MA, MSc, MEng, LLM. If you decide to become a teacher, excuse me, you can undertake a postgraduate course in education. So PGCE or a PGDE, depending on which region in the UK you are going to be teaching from. You can usually get higher paid roles by undertaking a master's degree, and this depends on the job description. So if a job description requires a master's degree, it is usually higher paid, but do have a look and see what company it's for, where the company is based, and what the job description is as well. Also, you can take a year out. So if you're undecided on what you want to do after university, you can take a year out. You can develop your culture skills, your work experience, etc., etc. So if you got enough, you can save up and do a bit of traveling. I did this back in 2018. It wasn't really after university, it was more in between jobs, but it was fantastic. It was really enjoyable. And if you can get work experience whilst you're working out there, so if you do get a working holiday visa to Australia, so that's what I did, and I worked in a hotel for a few months, and I got a bit of money, but also I got a bit more skills, and I do put that position onto my LinkedIn, onto my CV, because it shows that even though I was abroad, I was still finding work and I was still engaging in the working life as well. But it's a fantastic experience if you want to do it, if you want to do what I did and have a couple of years working to save up and then do a bit of traveling and get that experience, so if you come back you have more chance to get a job. You can do things like that, so you can do it in pretty much any way. After university, a few years of working, maybe take a year out after that. That's what I did. I benefited a lot from it, and it was a fantastic experience. So like I said, depending on what you can do, you can make sure you can still get some skills and experiences whilst you are on your year out. And a famous phrase, which I'm sure you've heard before and probably will be the last time you hear it, but if at first you don't succeed, try again. So you most likely have to go through numerous job interviews before you land a role. This is not unusual. I had the same experience. I had to go through at least 5 interviews to get one after my graduate internship at the university I studied at. So it's not unusual. Each application and each interview is an experience, and you will get more confident as each one passes. So you can have feedback from yourself, thinking, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? What are the areas I can improve? And you'll keep getting more and more confident. I can say confidently that I have improved my interview skills over the years. The one where I had to do a presentation during my interview was probably one of the most scariest one, because you know how it's a lot different, because usually you just be yourself and things like that, and you go to the interview, there's nothing else on the side. But after I've done it a few times, I can see where I can improve. I showed my parents, and again, I used the career service for a bit of mock interviews as well. Always ask for feedback from the company, as this helps you to continuously improve. If there's a bit in the interview where the employer says that you were a bit lacking on, you can make sure that for the next interview you go to, you are fantastic in that area which you were lacking before. So companies usually, majority of the time, give you either written feedback or verbal feedback if they can ring you up, but always ask for feedback, and because it is really, really helpful. So some last things to remember, just to wrap up the presentation. Getting involved at university helps you with employability. Hopefully I've highlighted that in the last 30 odd minutes which I've been speaking, and from this you can make yourself stand out from other graduates. So you can go into an interview and say, I've not just got a degree, I've also done a study abroad, I've done an internship, I've done a year out as well, a sandwich year. But whatever you do, you can make yourself stand out from other graduates who have just done their degree and nothing else alongside it. All work experience, paid or unpaid, will contribute to your CV. Being a part of sports and societies can help improve your skills, and this is definitely true. So alongside the volleyball team, which I mentioned before, I was part of the drama society, and that just helped me with my confidence so much. I would never imagine doing a job like this where I have to sometimes hundreds of students, obviously before we everything went digital for now anyway, and even doing this right now and just speaking to you with online through a presentation, I would never have the confidence if I didn't do the drama society, which made me more confident myself and really helped with those skills which I was lacking in. Do research on the job positions, your work placements and other opportunities. So if there's something that you enjoy, have a look on the employment websites just to get an idea of what the job will entail, and then see if you can tailor your degree and see what positions you can do. Look for work placements, be proactive. If there's somewhere you want to work, see if you can try and get a placement there. Get in touch with the careers team and they can help you out with that, and see what other opportunities are available after university as well. Utilize the career service. I know I've said this at least 5 times now, but it's a super useful service, and it's available during and after your university life as well. So thank you very much for listening. Just going to do a bit of a plug as our open day is coming up. Obviously, if you do watch this after the 31st of October, obviously you can skip this bit. Hopefully majority of the content will be on the UWS website, but if you are interested in knowing more about our courses, looking into the insights of programs, Q&A sessions, virtual tours, etc., you can use the QR code there. So you usually have a QR code reader in your phone pre-installed, but if not, there's hundreds you can download on the App Store. So do give that a wee scan if you want to attend our UWS online open day. And thank you very much for listening. My email is adam.stockley@uws.ac.uk if you have any questions at all regarding university as a whole, regarding personal statements, regarding anything, I'll be there to help. Also, we do have another little QR code there where you can create your own personalized digital prospectus. So you can put in the subject areas which you're interested in, and then essentially it creates a PDF document of your personalized prospectus, so you can get to know more about UWS and the degrees it offers. So thank you once again for listening, and have a fantastic day.